You are Destiny's arguably #1 cult member in terms of notoriety and artistic significance.
I mean, I'm honored.
Wait, this is like a half meme thing, or is this going to be even serious, or?
I'll take it.
How did...
Who is this? This is the guy that does the songs. And the impersonations. He's this guy.
How jacket infringe the systemic and meta-ethical.
Stop.
It's the...
Okay, I can't watch myself, but...
How did you feel
Look at that. Glorious hair. My God.
watching me destroy...
How does this guy... This guy's a studio? Do you think he's in Austin? He must be. I wonder if he rents this space, or if he...
You are Destiny's arguably #1 cult member in terms of notoriety and artistic significance.
I mean, I'm honored. I'll take it.
How did you feel watching me destroy your cult leader live on his own stream?
Oof.
And why do you think he has such a difficult time understanding that the far left and far right are equally ideologically abhorrent, if not, even if the current balance of power may lean one way or another?
I think Destiny spanked your bare bottom, Paul. There, I said it.
Just today, listen to your convo with Sam Harris. Loved your points about how explaining the extremist woke left with the right lack of policy. Very good point about how you need both sides of the table. I don't fully understand that sentence, but thank you.
And I also think that this is always going to come back to an argument of proportion, right? So you can always point to a position on the extremes of a spectrum that are equally bad, but then the question then becomes like, what proportion of people on each side actually like subscribe to that particular ideology? And so I think that in our current culture, the dangerous ideas of the far right are far more pervasive, and they're believed by far more people, and they're enacted more. And I think that whenever you look at that, like the equivalent of genuine communism, versus like far-right fascism, ethno-nationalism. These two things are not even comparable in terms of their reach in public discourse. Yeah, today. In general,
Okay, this is the only
question.
argument that has any strength, which is, of course, which is we accept that far left and far right are obviously equally bad in their ideological extremes.
If you conceptualize them like they're both the worst versions, then yes.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, we shouldn't. Destiny's point seemed to be, well, we shouldn't even frame it that way because it gives the illusion that as of right now the proportions are equal. And I would say that's pointless, or that's not the right heuristic to look at, because truth needs to be our heuristic. And if the radical right are more of a threat in the long term, which I could even be convinced of, I think Christian nationalism is deeply problematic. Banning contraception, banning evolution in schools, it's like, that's absolute trash.
I wish people... Truth has to be like... Truth... How do you... I feel like I'm trying to explain something that's so intuitively obvious. Truth exists at different contextual levels, and you need to, if you only have bits and pieces, even if all of your statements are true, if they're not presented correctly, they could be untrue. So for instance, say I give you 2 investment opportunities, and I say, hey, here's an investment opportunity. Their growth over the last 5 years averaged, like 7%. And then here's another investment opportunity, and their growth over the last 5 years was, 50%. What's the better investment opportunity? Well, these can be 2 true statements, but you need more information to make an informed decision, right? You're not just going off of ROI. You're going off of RR. Like you want to, what is it, R risk-adjusted return or whatever. Like you have to adjust for risk. Like even if, and that's just one of like a multitude of factors for any investment, right? Just having a couple of true points isn't enough to say that you understand the truth about a thing. You need more than that to have overall a good understanding of something. So being able to say like, oh, well, 2 things are bad. Okay, sure. But when you say things, you're encompassing a whole lot of political space there, right? The entirety of the left, the entirety of the right. There's a whole bunch of implications that are going along with that statement. And we need to expand on that to be saying something meaningful or something that's not false, right? Even if you're saying true things, You explain this exact thing to him with Candace Owens, where she says things that are factual, but you never say that Candace says true things. Sure, yeah. Oh, yeah, and I used the coin flipping example. That was a good example. I need to remember that in the future. I need to remember that. That was such a good example.
and in a much deeper way than it's like, oh, it's just banning evolution in schools. It's like, I actually would put that as a far more insidious thing than most people realize. The long-term effects of that are way worse than people realize. But we have to acknowledge that what I said at the individual level, like, do you agree that a member of Antifa is as psychologically degenerate as a member of